गणेश शरणं शरणं गणेश गणेश शरणं शरणं गणेश वागीश शरणं शरणं वागीश 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 गणेश शरणं शरणं गणेश गणेश शरणं शरणं गणेश सिद्धेश शरणं शरणं सिद्धेश 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 गणेश शरणं शरणं गणेश गणेश शरणं शरणं गणेश शरणं गणेश शरणं गणेश. I will chant 3 shlokas. You can repeat after me. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya. Surya Koti Samaprabha. Surya Koti Samaprabha. Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva. Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva. सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. So welcome you all. Today looks bigger crowd than yesterday. Invoking the grace of Gangadhareshwara, Sri Ganapati, Anjaneya, Shankaracharya ji, and Pujya Swami ji, we start our study on the Upanishad called Shvetashvatara Upanishad. It will take some time before we start reading the mantra and understanding. Before that, I would like to say a few words on the purpose of this camp. All of you must have some idea why you have come to this camp. Is there no?
Yes.
What is the idea?
Vedanta. To get into Vedanta.
Huh?
Just to get into Vedanta.
Get into Vedanta, yes. What is your idea?
Learn a bit more about Vedanta.
Huh?
To learn a bit more about Vedanta.
Good. So everybody will have some purpose. I can think of one purpose, and that I would share with you. Prasanna Sarvada Shantihi Svena Chaiva Parena Cha Tadarthoyam Samavasaha Gangaya Pavane Tate. This just gives the idea in shloka. I will tell you in English, so don't worry about Sanskrit. So, during these classes, you will be hearing 4 languages from me. One English, of course, little bit Sanskrit, little bit Hindi, kabhi Gujarati. One Gujarati fellow is sitting. But you make sure, I will make sure that whatever I say in any other language, I will translate in English. Okay? So you will not miss it. Unless some joke is there which cannot be translated. But otherwise, you will not miss any content. And I will try my best to avoid all other languages. But sometimes, because something goes well in some language only. So you please bear with me. Alright. So what it says, this shloka says, Sarvada Shantihi. Shantihi means peace. Sarvada, always. But not the peace we find in cremation ground or burial ground. Prasanna Shanti. Prasanna means this joyful, pleasant Shanti. The Shanti which is not characterized by sadness. Sometimes when somebody died, so in the house there is Shanti. But that is not a Prasanna Shanti, not pleasant Shanti. Sometimes two people, husband, wife, not talking Shanti. But not Prasanna Shanti. So we are talking about Prasanna Shanti. The Shanti which is characterized by joy, happiness. With whom? Svena, with oneself. Let there be peace with oneself. We have been fighting with ourselves. Sometimes we don't get anybody, we fight with ourselves. So, fighting chahiye. I want fighting. So nobody else, I fight with myself. In fact, basic fight is with oneself only. Your fight with oneself gets expressed in the form of fight with others. You can think over this. So, Shanti with oneself. And which will be resulted in Parenacha. Shanti with others. With the entire world. I want to let go of my tendency to fight, which is Swamiji used to say, ninja. That fighter. I want to fight. Yeah, if you are a soldier and your duty is to fight, you please fight. But generally, most of us are not, at least now. So, let there be Shanti with oneself, Shanti with others. Smiling Shanti. Not frowning Shanti. So, Shanti with myself, Shanti with others. That is the purpose. To discover Shanti with oneself, peace with oneself, and peace with others. Tadarthoyam samavasaha. Samavasa means camp. This camp is for that purpose. In Sanskrit, the word is a shibiram also is there. Samavasa also is there. Tadarthoyam samavasaha. Kutra, where? Kutra means Sanskrit. Kutra means where? Where? Gangayaha pavane tate. On the holy, sacred bank of Ganges. So this camp is for discovery of Shanti, pleasant Shanti with oneself, with others. And for that purpose, this camp is there on the holy bank of Ganges. So we can work, we can see whether our study, our whatever sadhana we call, is it going in this direction? And Swami, after Vedanta, I have become more fighting. So, some people say that Swamiji, before Vedanta he was alright, but after Vedanta he has become too much. Some people become too much to be handled after Vedanta because Vedanta is not studied well. The way it is supposed to be studied, the way it is to be related to one's life, then some side effects happen. And sometimes side effect is more than the cure. So that problem happens. Alright. And what is the significance of studying this Upanishad? We can understand from a story which Pujya Swamiji used to say. I hope all of you know who am I referring to. Pujya Swamiji means Swami Dayanand Saraswati, who is the founder of this place and so many other ashrams. So when I use the word Pujya Swamiji, I hope you will understand Swami Dayanandji. He is the guru of all of us. So I refer to all of us, we refer to him as Pujya Swamiji. And he had told the story in the beginning of one course. He started the course in 1990 in Coimbatore, and he started the course with this story. So I like the story, so I also will repeat. So अपना कुछ नहीं है, nothing belongs to me. It is everything from Guru Parampara only. I don't claim anything to be mine. There was a scholar who knew lot of grammar, Sanskrit Vyakaranam. He knew lot of analysis of the Vedas called Mimamsa. He knew Nyaya, logic, literature, so many things he knew. And sometimes knowledge is not digested well. Like some people have wealth, but they do not digest it well. So they try to show off. All 5 hands rings will be there. And the expensive watch. Every now and then, you know what is time now? He will say. So this scholar, even though he had scholarship, but did not digest well. And he was crossing a river. And that day no other passenger, only this scholar, this Panditji, in Sanskrit called Panditji. Pandit, Hindi we call Panditji. And this boatman. And some Panditji, these scholars have one habit. They cannot remain without talking. They always want somebody. So they want to have somebody to listen to them, ask some questions. And the boatman did not find any common topic. So what boatman was keeping quiet, but Panditji could not keep quiet. To keep quiet, you require a lot of strength. So he did not have that. So he asked the boatman, do you know Nyaya? Logic? Tarkashastra? Kannada has written, do you know? He said, sir, I don't know anything. He said, your 1/4 of your life is gone into water, gone into drain. Then further, because it's a Brahmaputra river, so very long, very wide river. And therefore, after a few minutes, again the Panditji felt like talking, and he asked, do you know Vyakaranam? बोले कि व्याकरणम क्या करणम? Means what to do with Vyakarana, grammar? And therefore, he said, I don't know. Then he said, your 1/2 life is gone into water. पानी में चला गया, gone into drain. Then further, he said, at least you know some literature. He said, literature, I don't know. He said, 3/4 of your life is gone into water, means gone into drain. Then all of a sudden, this Panditji found some water, from sides of water was coming, and they were in the middle of the river. And Pandit said, what happened? What happened? Then this boatman also saw that, and he said, yeah, there is some hole in this boat, very old one. And then he asked Panditji, Panditji, do you know swimming? Panditji said, swimming nahi jante hain." Then he said, your whole life is gone into. He said, my 3/4 life only, but your whole life has gone into water. Similarly, you may be knowing many disciplines of knowledge. Physics, chemistry, biology, management, so many things, so many branches of knowledge are there. But if you do not know this Vidya, a particular Vidya means knowledge, which is called Tarana Vidya, the knowledge of crossing the ocean of bondage. Bondage is called samsara. If you do not know this knowledge of crossing the ocean of bondage, samsara, then your whole life is wasted away, goes into drain. And that Tarana Vidya is otherwise called Atma Vidya. Tarati Shokam Atmavit. In one Upanishad, Naradji is telling Tarati Shokam Atmavit means the knower of the self crosses over the ocean of sorrow, otherwise called bondage, samsara. So that Tarana Vidya, the knowledge of this crossing over the bondage, is the Vidya given by the Upanishad. Now, most of the people, they think they know the bondage, but we need clarity about bondage to understand the real significance of freedom. Because freedom is a relative word. When you say I am free, it is always in the context of something. Now I am free, something. Means what? Earlier I was busy with something, now I am free. Somebody had filed the papers for divorce and now he got a divorce. Then what will he say? Now I am free. So freedom is always contextual. India got freedom, means political freedom. So here when we say that Atma Vidya is Moksha Vidya means it is the knowledge which is leading to freedom. Then freedom from what? In Shastra, freedom from bondage is presented in different ways. All of them have got the same meaning, but just for our understanding, better understanding, bondage and freedom are presented in different ways. We'll see a little bit more about this bondage. What is bondage? Bondage is something which you don't want to have, but you find yourself with. Bondage is something which you do not want to have, but you find yourself with. That is called bondage. If for somebody marriage life is something he doesn't want now, but he finds himself with, then marriage appears to be what? Bondage. Or a person wants to be away from a particular setup, but he can't be away from that setup. That setup is called what? Bondage for that person. But really, if you analyze the bondage more fundamentally, what is that bondage? Fundamentally, what is the bondage? bondage is in the form of self non-acceptance. I am not able to accept myself as I am now. This self non-acceptance is bondage. Why? Because you do not want that. Nobody wants to reject oneself, but one keeps finding oneself rejecting oneself. I am not able to accept myself as I am now. That self non-acceptance is bondage. And it is centered on I. It is not that I am rejecting only a particular thing. I am rejecting myself. That is why we can call this bondage spiritual bondage. Even though spiritual word has little bit different connotation, but spirit means the self. So for a want of better word, we can say this is the bondage centered on I. And if you want one word for that, we can call it spiritual bondage. Better word will be bondage centered on I. I am not acceptable to myself. And I am struggling to have acceptance of myself. Therefore, I do all kinds of things. I think that if I get good grade in the exam, I'll be acceptable to myself. I'm not okay because I don't have enough money. So let me have a lot of money. I'm not okay because nobody knows me, Swamiji. My Facebook entry only few people have got the followers or something. I don't know. I don't have Facebook. I have a face, I have a book, but no Facebook. I've heard something that people hit Facebook and then they will put a note and something. So there is a value for that. That how many people are hitting my Facebook? And only few people. So I want to have more number of people. So I do all kinds of things. All status all the time, now one thing I have seen now when I travel by flight, I see this, that people every now and then they're taking the picture, flight background, this aeroplane will be there. I said, what is this? But then will be putting on Facebook on the way to Rishikesh or something like that. Once Yamaraja came to take one lady, and the lady said, just please wait. Yamaraja means Lord of Death. So he said, wait for 2 minutes. Why? He said, I want to put status on Facebook on way to Yamloka. So this is how, not acceptable to myself. And you know what we do? Since I am not able to accept myself, means I am not accepted by myself, so I find out some via media, vicarious way. You know what? I want to be accepted by others at least. I am not acceptable to myself, but at least others accept me, that also is good enough. And therefore, I seek approval of others. All the time I am conscious how people are looking at me, what people are thinking about me. They ask also, Swamiji, what that person is thinking about me. And we have judgment about others' judgment. I have a judgment that that person is judging me in this manner. So I have a judgment of others about me. And most of the time they are not correct. We think that this person is thinking like this. This person thinks I'm idiot. I'm not idiot. He thinks about me. That person says, I don't think about you at all. I have fear or I have got this feeling that other person has got this judgment about me. I be chatting wrongly only. So very conscious. That person may not be even listening to you, but you are very conscious that that person will find out a mistake with me. That person may be busy with something else, but you are very conscious. One lady in the ashram, she was telling one Swamiji, all the people are all the time talking about me. When I'm walking, all are talking about me. Swamiji said, why do you think yourself to be so important that they talk about you only? They don't have any other job or what? So conscious we are. Always afraid what people will say, what people will say. सबसे बड़ा यही है रोग, क्या कहेंगे हमको लोग, हिंदी में बोलते हैं. So a big disease we have, I am translating in English, big disease we have that what will people say? Yeah, you need to be considerate about the social opinion because you are a part of the society, so you should respect the social norms. That is correct. But sometimes it is unnecessary concern that what people are thinking. Why? Because we want approval, acceptance from others. And for that, how much we do? If somebody says that, oh, in cold also you are not wearing sweater. Today I had forgotten, therefore I am not wearing. But next day, even though I remember, I will not wear. Why? People think I am so great because I don't wear sweater. This we do so much just to get some this credit, browsing points from people. Just to get that. Because I do not find myself to be acceptable. And therefore, I want acceptance from others, approval from others. And since I am not acceptable, I constantly try to become somebody. I am not happy being I am. So I am now non-graduate. So I want to become a graduate. Then after graduation, oh, you don't have a job. So I want to have a job. I should be a person who has a job. And after job, what next thing you know? Marriage. In India, people are so concerned about your marriage. They may not be so concerned about themselves, but their others' marriage. So they will say, when are you getting married? When are you getting married? One lady I asked, said, why did you get married? What was your mind behind? He said, Swamiji, all were asking, when are you getting married? When are you getting married? So I got married. What a purpose. Just to avoid this question. Because people will ask, when are you getting married? And I don't want to be asked. And therefore get married. It is just one of the purposes. Marriage has got much higher purpose, but that's what people think. So I try to become somebody other than what I am now. The struggle to become somebody is bondage. I do not accept myself as I am now and I struggle to become somebody else. This is called bondage. In Sanskrit, they call it samsaraha. Another way of looking at the bondage is my dependence upon the world to be happy, peaceful, and secure. See your life. I require all the time something to be happy. I can be happy only if this happens, that happens, or this does not happen, that does not happen. So I am dependent on someone, something to be happy. That is why if you are smiling, no, people will ask you, hey, Enache, what happened? What happened? Enaitu. In Kannada they say, Enaitu. Means what happened? Kya ho gaya? Kya hua? Means you are happy, there must be some reason. You can't be happy just like that. And it means I depend upon the world to be happy. And it's a bondage. Paravasham sarvam dukkham. So whenever you have dependence, it will lead to some suffering. So my dependence upon the world to be happy is one type of bondage. Another thing is peace. Swamiji, when my spouse is away for 1 month, no, I am peaceful. One lady was telling me, Swamiji, in village we say that girl should not marry a lawyer. I hope anybody lawyer is that should not be bad. The reason is interesting to me, whether marry or not marry. He said, why? Because this lawyer in the village will be sitting at home only. His home office come home. His workplace is home only. And you all of you know when you are working from home, what type of problems are there?
Yes.
Many divorces happen in COVID. Many suicide happen.
Yeah.
And so I can become peaceful only when somebody is not there. Or somebody is there. Swamiji, when my son is around, I am peaceful. If he goes out, I feel so restless. Something will happen. So you require the presence of someone or absence of someone to be peaceful. People will say, Swamiji, this place is very noisy, let me go away. Let me go to Uttarkashi. Puji Swamiji used to tell this. This is one person who was in Rishikesh in Puji Swamiji's time. It was 1962 or 65. That time, somebody told Swamiji is very noisy Rishikesh. So he went to Brahmapuri. Here one place is there, Brahmapuri. And there also he found noisy. So Uttarkashi in those days very quiet. I have seen in 1991 years. So quite peaceful it was. But he found that also noisy because birds were making noise. And he got so fed up with all this, he went back to South India. Nowhere peace. So if you depend upon only external situations for your peace, then that is bondage. Yes, we require relative quietude for certain activities. But the final peace, the ultimate peace centered on I does not come from outside. In quiet place also people are so much disturbed. So my dependence upon the world to be peaceful and dependence upon the world to be secure, all have got sense of insecurity. You know, insecurity, the fear of tomorrow, What will happen? So recession is coming. This inflation is there, and now something is there. The stagnation or something is there. Some economic. I'm talking about all this. What will happen? What will happen? Fear. And I will be secure if this happens, this happens, this does not happen, this does not happen. And my list, what all should happen, what all should not happen, keeps on increasing. This is bondage. My dependence upon the world to be happy, peaceful, and secure, that is bondage. If this clarity is there, you will not blame any setup. Real bondage is not a particular setup. Real bondage is not in the form of your spouse or children. People think that those who become samsari or those who become sannyasi, they are free. No. Sannyasa does not mean the ultimate freedom. Yes, sannyasa involves some freedom from certain duties. But I have seen so many sannyasins as bound as the householders are, if not more. Not all. Don't say all are like this. A few of them I have seen. In fact, I saw one person, when he was a householder, he was quite confident. But after becoming sannyasa, I started feeling so insecure. So don't think That Swami, you are sannyasi, so what problem you have? We have a problem because we are samsari, we are married, we have children. So don't think that you are bound because of your marriage or your children. Marriage and children do not constitute bondage. That clarity needs to be there. Otherwise, what will happen? In the spiritual pursuit, many times people start blaming their spouse. See, because of you are bound. You should not say that. Then you are creating allergy to Vedanta in the minds of people. Don't do that. Your bondage is not any setup, any person. Bondage is your dependence upon the setup, dependence upon the person. And that is another way of seeing this bondage. One more way of seeing bondage is this sense of helplessness. I mean, every now and then I feel very helpless. This I can't do, that I can't do. Now I can't run because I am 60. Knee pain is there, this pain is there. I cannot buy this. Swamiji, I cannot come study Sanskrit. Why? Because I am already 75. So, not able to remember Swamiji. Every now and then, my teacher is very good, Swamiji, but I can't remember. He tell me, Ego Yanachi. And then I tell me what is Ik. Ik, which is Yan, which is Achi. Achi Pare, Yansya. So he tells me all this, but Swamiji, next day, ये हिस्ट्री और जियोग्राफी है बड़ी बेवफा, रात को बड़ा और दिन को सफा. So I will tell in English. So those who know Hindi will understand. So they say that history, geography, they are very disloyal. Bewafa, I don't know how to, infidel. So not very loyal to us. Night we study and morning it is clean. That's what it is. Anyways, I will try to minimize my Hindi. So here, helplessness. I feel helplessness with reference to so many things. In Shastra also, this idea is given, Anishaya Shochati. Those who have studied, they know. I will be talking something for everybody. So those who have studied also will be, Swami is talking about something like that. So Anishaya Shochati, helplessness. Anisha, there is a word in Shastra. Anisha means helplessness. So don't keep your name Anisha. Other name, other meaning also is there. Anisha, other meaning also. Another means the ultimate Lord also is the meaning. Sanskrit is a very beautiful thing, it can have both the meanings. Anyway, so helplessness is also bondage. And all three put together. What are the three? Non-acceptance, non-self-acceptance, dependence, and helplessness. All these are the three ways of looking at the bondage. And essentially, they are in the form of sense of limitation. All three boil down to the sense of limitation. I am limited. And because of that, I am not acceptable to myself. Since I am limited and not acceptable to myself, I don't find myself happy. Therefore, I have to be dependent on others to be happy. And since I am limited, I feel helpless. So my sense of limitation, I am a limited being, a limited individual. This is bondage. So bondage don't connect with a particular setup or situation. Bondage is your sense of limitation centered on I, not centered on anything, centered on not on the body or senses or even the mind. It is centered on I. I am limited. This is what bondage is. Now, Swamiji, okay, you told the problem. What is the solution? See, generally what people do to solve this problem of sense of limitation, they try to add something to oneself to become free from this sense of limitation. Say they do various activities, by that they will have some achievements, and these achievements will, they hope they will make them free from this limitedness. And that doesn't work, and it cannot work. You know why? There is a simple mathematics. Any finite number, you add to any finite number, what will be the answer? Finite. Finite plus finite will be finite. Limited plus limited is always limited. So what will happen? I find myself to be limited now, and whatever I add is the result of some action. And action being limited, the result will be limited. So I limited plus any limited continues to be limited. So whatever I do or whatever I drop, I continue to be limited. And somebody may say, okay, I am limited and I tried, but I cannot be limitless. So let us give up this project. Let us give it up. Many things we give up. People wanted to become a pilot but could not. So they give up. People wanted to become a cricketer, could not. Give up. So many things we wanted to be. Some people wanted to be married but could not. So that they remained. In Hindi they say, so remained a brahmachari. Forced brahmachari. Remained like that. So similarly, Swami, can't we give up this pursuit of being limitless? You cannot. Why? There are two reasons. One is that every now and then you have got the glimpse of your being limitless. Every now and then you have got this window to see the limitlessness, to experience limitlessness. And these are the moments of happiness. When you are happy, you know what is happening? The demanding I, non-acceptable I is suspended for the time being. And there is wholeness. And that wholeness is expressed in the form of experience of happiness. And therefore what happens? You have got the glimpse. And since glimpses are there, therefore unknowingly there is a sense of possibility. And when there is a sense of possibility, you don't give up this pursuit. Another thing is, in the vision of Shastra, limitlessness is your nature. And therefore, you cannot go away from your nature. Without being yourself, you cannot be comfortable. And therefore, this desire for limitlessness is a natural desire. And natural desire cannot be given up completely. You can forget it sometimes, suspend it for the time being, but you cannot give up. And therefore, this person cannot give up the pursuit of limitlessness, and he doesn't find any means. In this situation, Shastra comes into the picture. Some Mahatmas come into the picture and tell us that there is a possibility. What? That what you are seeking may not be away from you. What you want and what you are may be one and the same. Why don't you see that possibility? And why I am missing limitlessness, even though I am limitless? That will be the question from this person to that Mahatma or to the Shastra. Then Shastra says, many a times in our life it has happened that something we have, but still we miss it because we do not know the fact that it is with us. Which Swami used to give the example of these glasses, Glasses are like this, and person has forgotten that glasses are there. He is searching all over. Many times it must have happened, key is there with you, and you are searching. And all these examples are giving us a particular possibility that something may be with me, but I am still searching for it because I do not know that it is not away from me. First of all, in my life, I need to see this fact, not accept, I need to see this fact that ignorance can create problem. Ignorance and ignorance born mistakes can create problem in my life. This particular fact needs to be seen very intimately. Then only the teaching of Vedanta will be relevant. And I have experienced this very well, that how ignorance can create problem. I generally give this example. I was in Rishikesh here in 89 to 93, 94. And I got this problem of itching on the skin. Lot of itching. And I tried to manage 2-3 days, and then we went to a doctor here. In those days, only 1 or 2 doctors will be there. So even though he was urologist, but he was a very well-wisher. So we want to him because he is the only available for us. And he did some examination, and he said, that time brahmachari or whatever, so he said, you have scabies. Scabies, this is scabies. Scabies is a disease which is infectious disease and contagious. Contagious. And he said, you have to do all this, you have to wash all your clothes, all woolens, everything you have to do. And so much he said, so many things, medicine he gave and all this. And I said, okay, we'll do. But that was not my big problem. Big problem is, in the ashram, people came to know that I have scabies, and they were keeping distance from me. And those who know, those who are ignorant, they don't mind. But slowly it has news spread, and people were keeping distance. Whatever responsibility I had of storekeeper and all this, that also was taken away from me. And I think they started giving food in my room. Something like that. And there was a possibility that perhaps I have to leave the ashram. At least I thought in my mind that, if it continues, then what? Yeah, I had so much desire to study more. And such a big problem. You can imagine that, you cannot stay in the place where you want to because this has happened. Then, one Swamiji, he took me to Dehradun, skin specialist. And he saw me and he said, you don't have scabies. You have got only dry skin problem, you use the pear soap in those days. That's it. And the Swamiji told me, ask him to write it because people will not believe here. And so he wrote it. And I showed it here to people. Then people blame the doctor. Oh, this doctor, local doctor is like this. So now you can see, because of ignorance of the fact that I don't have the problem, how much I suffer. So ignorance can create problem and knowledge can solve the problem. I saw it very, very intimately. And similar things might have happened in your life. I was observant and therefore it is there in my mind. It happened in some 90s, still after 32 years I remember. So it's there. So ignorance can create problem. Ignorance can make you miss what you have. I was already free from problem. Scabies, freedom from scabies was already there. But I was ignorant of that fact. And therefore, there was so much concern. So here, Shastra says that this limitlessness, what you are seeking, is not away from you. You are what you are seeking. You are what you love to be. This is the message of Shastra. And so, my problem of this sense of limitation is because of ignorance. This much conclusion, if it comes in your life, it is a very big achievement. That my all problems are finally boiled down to this ignorance of my true nature. And when ignorance is the problem, knowledge is the solution. That also one has to have clarity. When ignorance is the cause for the problem, knowledge is the solution. When darkness is the cause for the problem, light is the solution. Alright, up to this we have come. I want to be free from this bondage of dependence, self-non-acceptance, helplessness. From this bondage I want to be free. And I can be free from the bondage when I become free from ignorance. And ignorance can come by knowledge. Now question would be how to get this knowledge. Here also people have got misconceptions. Some people say that you simply meditate. Meditate on the self, then you will get self-realization. Keep on asking, who am I? Who am I? Simply asking. Or just keep on thinking about self. And by yourself, you become your own teacher. Appo Deepo Bhava, something they have got saying. You become your own lamp. Yes, final conviction has to be my own. But I cannot get the knowledge by simply sitting in meditation. Any knowledge comes by using the means of knowledge. That is the epistemological order. Epistemology means the discipline of knowledge dealing with knowledge. It's called epistemology. So this is epistemological order that knowledge can come by using the means of knowledge. Like to see this sheet in front of me, I have to use my eyes. To hear the sound of Ganga, I have to use my ears. To know that the taste of sweet which you are going to have today, double bandara. So, you have to use your tongue. Similarly, for getting the knowledge of the self, you have to use the means of knowledge. And not only simply means of knowledge, appropriate means of knowledge, specific means of knowledge. You cannot say, I want to see this clip by my ears. No, you cannot. Can you see the clips through your ears? By your ears? No, you cannot. Can you hear the sound through your eyes? So you have to use appropriate, specific means of knowledge for getting any knowledge. And for getting the knowledge of the self, What is the means of knowledge? One most prevalent means of knowledge we use is the perception. Eyes, ears, etc. Perception. Through that, we get the knowledge of things. But here, perception cannot be used because we are talking about the knowledge of the self which is behind the organs. Eyes cannot see themselves, much less the self behind the self behind the eyes. Can you see your eyes? Can you see?
No,
Not reflection. Otherwise, you can see.
your own.
But original eyes, can you see? Even though people say they have beautiful eyes, how beautiful eyes you have? You cannot see. Only you see the reflection of the eyes. And the reflection, its position is reversed. So you can't see your eyes. You can't hear your ears. Ears, the faculty of hearing, you can't hear. Some people say, Swamiji, I have got this tinnitus. But that you are hearing the external sound, ear faculty of hearing, you can't hear. You cannot taste your tongue. And thus, organs themselves cannot objectify themselves, much less they can objectify the self. And inference, etc., which are other means of knowledge, they are based on perception. Therefore, they also cannot be used. Only one means of knowledge we are left out. We are left with is Shabda Pramanam, the means of knowledge in form of words. Words also give us words also give us knowledge. When you hear the report on radio that Prime Minister went to this place, inaugurated this project, you got the knowledge. How did you get? Through words? Or you read in the newspaper? So through written or heard words, also you can get knowledge. I can talk to you about one ashram called Narayan Ashram in Pithuragad, beyond Pithuragad, beyond Pangu, near Nepal border. There is one beautiful ashram, Narayan Ashram, and it is just on the top of hill and very beautiful scenery around. There are few rooms there. Now must have increased. So I described. You got some knowledge. Some of you may come and ask for address also. So I don't have address, but I'm just telling. So you got the knowledge. But this knowledge is indirect knowledge. So generally words give indirect knowledge. Not direct knowledge like I see the clip. When I hear about the clip, it is different. So generally words give indirect knowledge. And indirect knowledge are not seem to be as valid as direct. Therefore, if I get indirect knowledge about the self, it will not be valid. So Swamiji, and this is the notion of many people, that words of even scriptures will give us what? Only indirect knowledge. Swamiji, I want direct knowledge. So now in the next class we will see that words can give you direct knowledge as well. We will see those situations where they can give direct knowledge. Those details we'll see in the next class. Today we have got two bandaras, one from 11 o'clock and then another 11:30. Therefore, we have to change the class timing. So next class will be 10:15 to 11. And you will have tea around 10 o'clock. So I hope, if possible, we can have it early, 15 minutes, 9:45 or sometime. So 10:15 to 11 will be the next class. Only for today. I hope today. Otherwise, if tomorrow also double bandara, tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Swamiji, today, Viveka Sarandi, today class, chatting class, no class, no?
Yes.
Is there?
If present, I would ask the Bandara and everything.
Okay, will be able to have 12 o'clock? So they were telling no class.